There are many underworld minnows, and some big fish, and then there are the whales. Finally, while hiding in plain sight in Dubai, the whales were the catch of the day. 6 high-value targets said to form a super cartel, responsible for a third of all the cocaine in Europe. For years now, these rich, powerful, prolific men have been among the most wanted and difficult creatures to capture. They've been declared bona fide drug lords, kingpins, with roots in the Balkans, Britain, Netherlands, North Africa, and Panama. And don't worry, I will name names. The Mob reporter here with details on one of the most important international mega operations in years, involving law enforcement from America, France, Holland, Spain, Belgium, and, most surprisingly, the United Arab Emirates, previously valued as a gilded sanctuary for the world's biggest narcos. Let me tell you about it. Doors were smashed, men arrested, luxurious villas searched, assets seized, evidence gathered. A super cartel needs supercars, I guess. These arrests unwound over several days, from November 8th to November 19th, 2022, but were publicly disclosed just this week. They are suspected of moving astronomical loads of cocaine and other drugs around the world. Some 30 tons of cocaine was seized, along with murders, kidnappings, money laundering, corruption, and more. There were 49 arrests in all in coordinated parallel investigations. There's a lot going on. Let's break it down. It was codenamed Operation Desert Light. Desert is surely a reference to where the main event took place, in Dubai, a glittering city of high-rises and high finance, carved out of the desert in the Arabian Peninsula. The pinnacle of all the arrests is 40-year-old Edin Gacanin, also known as Tito, who was born in Bosnia, emigrated to the Netherlands, and living in Dubai, where he was guarded by former Bosnian police officers and a top-level martial arts fighter. He was named as a key part of the super cartel in its earlier iteration, linking Gacanin to Daniel Kinahan, the alleged Irish drug boss, Ridwan Taghi, named as the Dutch-Moroccan boss of the so-called Mokra Mafia, and Raffaella Imperiale of Italy's Camorra Mafia. That iteration of the cartel was deeply damaged when Taghi and Imperiale were arrested in Dubai, surprising pinches in 2019 and 2021 respectively, and when the Kinahans ran for cover from U.S. sanctions for transnational crime, with a $5 million reward for their arrest. We now have new names allegedly filling out the super cartel roster. Gacanin is described as Europe's Pablo Escobar. Want evidence of his wealth and power? The last time he flew from Dubai to his hometown of Sarajevo in 2016, 6 officers with Federal Police Special Forces called in sick so they could protect him during his stay. The cops even escorted him across the border for a visit to neighboring Croatia. As documented by investigative journalists at Zernal magazine, Gacanin then gave the Federal Police Force a present, 75 sets of modern tactical uniforms. That is Escobar level. Dutch prosecutors say Sky-ECC messages, a secure phone system catering to criminals, suggest Gacanin moved an enormous volume of drugs, including 1,800 kilos imported into Hamburg and about 740 kilos from Durban in South Africa into Rotterdam. The Dutch requests to Dubai brought the arrests of 2 high-value targets, Gacanin and 37-year-old Zuhair Belker. Belker was also snagged by Sky-ECC messages. He is accused of importing thousands of kilos of cocaine into the Netherlands. There was plenty of action in Spain as well. There were 15 people and 24 million euros in assets grabbed in raids in Madrid, Barcelona, and Malaga. The assets included expensive cars and luxury villas, as well as cash and fancy watches. The cartel's operation in Spain was divided into 2 arms, one unloading coke at Spanish ports and the other hiding money. The port work was helped, police say, by a corrupt port worker who was among those arrested. One of those arrested in Barcelona, a Bulgarian man allegedly in charge of extraction, was named as an HVT. That's police talk for a high-value target, and he's the only one of the HVTs caught on European soil. Spain also requested the arrest of 2 more HVTs in Dubai. One was identified as Ryan James Hale, 32, a British citizen who had a breakneck rise as a key man in Ireland's Kinahan clan. Hale relocated to Spain's Costa del Sol, which is a favorite spot for the cartel, and it became a money laundering center. He lived life in luxury there until the heat he felt from authorities and rivals grew in step with his remarkable rise. When rivals tried to kidnap him, he allegedly said in a phone call, he freaked out and hightailed it to join his friends in Dubai. Although he left Spain, authorities say he retained control over the Spanish portion of the super cartel's operations. A second British man was also arrested. He remained in Spain, suspected of being the group's money launderer. Spain's investigation started in 2020, sparked by the discovery of 698 kilos of cocaine in the port of Valencia. Who was behind that failed caper wasn't known, but the investigation took on new life after Dutch and French authorities hacked into Sky-ECC. Investigators found that secret messages sent through Sky revealed someone with the username Robo asking about the status of the Valencia load. Police say they identified Robo as Hale. Hale, investigators say, was using Sky to discuss business with another man, also named as an HVT and a member of the super cartel, Anthony Alfredo Martinez Meza from Panama, allegedly their transit man, a master of global logistics. Martinez Meza was also arrested in the Dubai sweep. Cocaine from South America was run up the coast into Panama, where it was loaded into shipping containers in the port of Manzanillo at the mouth of the Panama Canal. The cocaine was hidden in legitimate goods being shipped to Europe, and cops in several countries then realized they were all chasing the same suspects. Europol, the European Union's police agency, stepped in to coordinate all the moving parts. French and Belgian police coordinated for a joint probe involving 2 tons of seized cocaine and the kidnapping of a Belgian citizen over smuggling at the port of Antwerp. Belgian authorities also seized €1 million in cash. That's this pile here. Their probe also led to the arrests of the remaining 2 high-value targets in Dubai, Rabhiwi Boorfa and Hosni Ajouri, 2 men from North Africa allegedly linked to the Mokra Mafia. Investigators told me they don't want to say too much about the details because while their top-tier targets are in custody, they remain in Dubai. They won't be able to question them for their investigation until their deportation is settled. That's a small complaint though, given that until recently there was almost no prospect of them being arrested, let alone extradited. And really, this is the most surprising and perhaps important part of all this. Dubai finally seems to be playing ball. The place sometimes seems like another world, gleaming and modern with more 5-star hotels than New York City. But for decades, the city was a sanctuary for crime bosses, a land of plenty for fugitives who have the wealth to survive and thrive there, outside the reach of even the American and European law enforcement. The final piece of the puzzle that triggered the sweeps of Operation Desert Light was a political and bureaucratic one. On September 22, 2020, the Minister of the Interior in the United Arab Emirates signed a formal agreement with Europol, allowing Emirati law enforcement liaison officers to be deployed to Europe's headquarters in The Hague. This gave a stamp of approval to Dubai police from a member of the ruling family, giving real power to operational cooperation. And finally, no one is talking about the American contribution to all of this, including the DEA, who told me the agency won't be commenting. I'm intrigued by the DEA's name for it, Operation Black Tie. To me, that signals that agents consider the members of the super cartel to be among the underworld elite, top tier, those who would wear black ties at a formal dinner party. In fact, that might be exactly where the name comes from, because undercover DEA agents infiltrated a Kinahan wedding held at the spectacular Burj Al Arab Hotel in Dubai in 2017, and they watched Daniel Kinahan mingle with Taji Kochanin, Imperiale, and other alleged leading drug lords. If you're a Western man not wearing a black tie to a wedding at the Burj Al Arab, you're probably doing it all wrong. Please tap the thanks button to support my work or join me on Patreon. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It all helps. Thanks for watching.